Well, it's partially true. Why? Because in last a few months, when you see there is a lot of H-1B fraud. I mean, people have filed multiple applications, and a lot of employers are getting letters from USCIS that they're getting audited, and a lot of H-1B guys who have entered into United States on a software professionals are getting their visas revoked, notice to intent to revoke, NOIR, and a lot of them are getting deported. And then a lot of colleges, a lot of schools, past 6 months to 1 year, a lot of schools have lost their recognition. That's called, just like in India, that you're recognized by the government, UGC. Similar, there is nothing like an UGC in America, but there are accrediting agencies in America. And many schools, colleges have been, they've lost their accreditation. That's one of the reasons. And two, there are many schools have been blacklisted by different agencies. And number three, you cannot get an I-20 by the service if your school is de-recognized. That is not true. Because I-20 form is a form given by the international school advisor, by the universities or colleges, and that facility is given to these schools, US schools, by the immigration itself. If the school has not followed, complied the law, they will lose their facility of issuing Form I-20. So that could not be the reason. But sometimes what happens, these students, let's say if the colleges or the university is in New York, what they would do, these kids, they will arrive in Florida or they will arrive in California or different parts of the United States altogether. You cannot arrive in a different city when your college is located in New York, or if your college is located in California or Florida, you have to arrive in that city, period. Number one. Number two, you have to know how to answer the questions because it is an interview again. And most of the times kids, students, when they get a visa by the consulates, they're so overconfident. They're thinking that, oh, my life is settled. Now I'll go and work, make some money and pay the school fees. No, that is not true. You have to be prepared for the inspection and for the interview again at the port of entry. Many reasons are there because sometimes innocence also gets deported. How? Because you're traveling for 2 days and you have a jet lag, you have an anxiousness, you have a fatigue, and you don't sleep. And the accent is also different because Americans, they speak different accent. It's not, of course, it's an English language, but the accent is totally different. And you're not looking into the officer's eyes when you're answering the questions, and you're not confident of your own documentation. And most of the times what happens, Shivani, when you're bringing or carrying some fraudulent documents, when you're doing fraud and when you're not having money, you're indicating saying, oh, I have some money, things like that, when you're not able to justify the answers, what's going to happen? Of course, you're scared. I mean, even in India, when you're going on a scooty or a bike, when a police officer stops you, you are nervous. Any person in the world, when somebody stops you, you're nervous. If a police officer or any officer with uniform, when they stop you, whether it is America or any part of the world, you get nervous. And second, not only nervous, you are tired and you don't understand the language, English, and you're not able to answer the questions properly, and you're not able to satisfy the answers to the officers because they're meeting students and different immigrants and non-immigrants every day, lakhs of people every day. And they just want to get appropriate answers, relevant answers. They're not there to punish you and send you back. Why? Because it is a business, America, education, international students, they bring billions of dollars into the country. And the first Chinese are the maximum people who come, and the second largest students who come to United States are Indians. So they're looking at it has a business. You're coming to give business to the country. You're getting educated. The other problem, what we see, I mean, these media guys are saying, and people are complaining, the students and their parents, that immigration officers are saying that after education, you're not going back. But F1 visa is a dual intent visa. The legislation says that after your graduation, you could stay back in the United States if you get a job. And it's a dual intent visa. What does it mean? After your education, if you want to come back to your home country, you can come back. And if you want to pick up a job, if you get an employment offer, of course, you can stay back and work. So it's called dual intent visa. Just like H-1B, it's a dual intent visa. If you want to immigrate, if you want to live in America permanently, you can. And if you want to go back, you can go back. Nobody's stopping you. So that is not the reason why they're sending back. Most of the times, because when the immigration officer is asking questions, there are cameras. Your interview is getting recorded, and they also makes notes. The immigration officers, because that's a due process of law, they can't just arbitrarily or unilaterally, they can't send you back because they have to follow the law of the land. And these are immigration officers, and they are trained. They know they're trained at looking at your body language. They're trained to discover your fraudulent documents. They're trained to make a decision whether you are admissible or inadmissible.